Do you ever wonder what it takes for a man to truly fall in love? What if I told you there's a secret, a specific way you can make a man fall deeply for you, more than just a fleeting attraction or infatuation? It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about unlocking the emotional depth that every man secretly craves. And once you understand it, everything changes. His connection to you will shift. You will no longer be just a passing interest or a casual fling in his eyes. You will become something far more precious, something irreplaceable. The key lies in understanding the hidden emotional triggers that spark profound love. And once you get it right, your connection will deepen in ways you never imagined. In the fast-paced world we live in, emotions are often overlooked or dismissed as trivial. But let me tell you this, emotions drive everything, especially love. And contrary to what society might suggest, love isn't a linear progression. It's a dance, a deep emotional connection that swirls through time, forming bonds that only grow stronger. Yet we're constantly told love is simple. But is it? Of course not. Love is complex, deep, and infinitely varied. But there's one thing every man feels in his heart when he's truly in love. And it's not what you might think. It's not grand gestures. It's not expensive gifts. It's something far deeper, far more vulnerable than any of that. What you might not know is that men have a tendency to fall in love deeply when they experience certain emotional triggers. Think about it. We live in a world where vulnerability is often seen as a weakness. Yet men secretly long to be seen, truly seen in their most vulnerable state. Why is that so powerful? Because when a man feels that you truly see him, his flaws, his weaknesses, his strengths, and his passions, something extraordinary happens. You break through the walls he's built, and you enter his emotional world. That's where love begins to take root. But here's the catch. Most people don't understand this depth of emotional connection. They look for surface-level signs, things that are easy to spot, but rarely lead to lasting love. Now, you might be wondering, why should I be the one to show this kind of emotional vulnerability? It's simple. Because that's what a man is secretly yearning for. He wants to know that he's valued, that he's not just a provider or a protector, but a man who can be loved for exactly who he is, flaws and all. When you give him that emotional space, when you allow him to drop his guard and feel your genuine love, he begins to fall for you in ways he didn't know were possible. The walls he's put up over the years start to crumble, and what remains is pure, raw affection that deepens over time. What happens next is even more powerful. Once he feels that deep connection, once he experiences the vulnerability you've given him, he'll begin to see you in an entirely new light. You won't just be a partner. You'll be his emotional safe haven. Think about it. When you find someone who truly accepts and understands you, someone who makes you feel safe to express your deepest emotions, how could you not fall in love with them? How could you not want to spend the rest of your life with them? That's the emotional bond you're building. The love he feels is no longer based on surface-level attraction, but on something far deeper, far more meaningful. And that's the kind of love that lasts. So, what exactly do you need to do to make this happen? First and foremost, you must understand that love isn't about the chase. It's not about winning his attention or playing hard to get. It's about being real, being vulnerable, and allowing him to see the true you. Vulnerability doesn't mean weakness, it means strength. It takes an incredible amount of courage to be truly open and honest with someone, to let them in completely. And when you do this, when you drop the masks and let him see who you really are, something magical happens. You start building trust, and trust is the foundation upon which deep, lasting love is built. But here's the secret sauce. You don't just let him in and hope for the best. No, there's a way to do this with intention. You need to make him feel safe enough to be vulnerable in return. It's a two-way street, my friend. It's not about you just pouring your emotions out for him. It's about creating a space where both of you can feel safe to share, to open up, to be imperfect. When a man sees that you are open to him in this way, that you're willing to go deep emotionally, he'll naturally begin to mirror that behavior. And that's when the real magic happens. That's when he starts to fall deeply in love with you. Let me tell you something important. This process doesn't happen overnight. No, it takes time. Building emotional intimacy is not something that can be rushed. It's like planting a seed and allowing it grow slowly day by day. But as you nurture that bond, as you create an environment where he feels valued, loved, and emotionally safe, you will start to see him change. He'll open up more, he'll invest more, And over time, those deep emotional connections will transform into profound love. It's a beautiful thing, and it's waiting for you. But first, you must be willing to take the first step. Are you ready to do this? But here's a question for you. What if I told you that you might be unknowingly blocking this process? What if you've been approaching relationships the wrong way without even realizing it? Most people think they understand love, but they're often mistaken. They believe that love is about grand gestures, about constantly giving or receiving affection. But it's far more complex than that. Love is about emotional attunement, the ability to connect with someone on a deep, meaningful level. And here's where most people get it wrong. They focus so much on the surface level stuff, on impressing or keeping up appearances, that they forget to build the emotional depth that's crucial for true, lasting love. Are you focusing on the wrong things? And here's where I'll leave you with a thought. What would happen if you started doing this? If you began unlocking these emotional depths with the men in your life? Would you see a shift in your relationship? Would you witness a transformation in the way they look at you? In the way they feel about you? I believe you would. And if you're ready for that change, if you're ready to unlock the emotional bond that leads to deep, lasting love, then let's continue on this journey together. Because the truth is, every man wants to fall in love with someone who gets him, who understands him, and who makes him feel truly valued. And you, my friend, can be that person. Now let's dive deeper into how you can begin cultivating this emotional bond with a man. This isn't about surface-level interactions, but about creating real, meaningful moments that will leave a lasting impression on his heart. If you're serious about making him fall in love with you, this is where the magic truly happens. You see, men crave emotional connection just as much as women do. The difference is, they often hide it behind layers of pride and strength. But underneath it all, they long for someone who sees past the facade and taps into the very core of their emotions. That's where you come in. You might be wondering, how do I even begin to connect on this level? The first thing you need to do is make him feel heard. Simple, right? Yet so many relationships fail because one person is not genuinely listening. I'm not talking about just nodding along while he talks. No, I'm talking about truly listening, actively engaging with what he's saying, asking thoughtful questions, and showing empathy. Men want to know that when they speak, their words matter. They want to feel understood. And when you offer that level of attention and care, you create an emotional bond that's hard to break. But here's the thing. Men often don't talk about their feelings, and many women mistakenly think this means they don't have any. If you want to know the truth, men feel deeply. They just don't always know how to express it. This is where your emotional intelligence comes into play. If you can recognize subtle signs that he's upset or stressed, even if he's not saying anything outright, you're showing him that you truly get him. It's in those quiet moments of understanding that deep emotional intimacy forms. And once he knows that you can read him without words, he'll feel like he's found someone who truly understands him, someone he can't afford to lose. It's also important to note that creating this emotional bond doesn't mean being his therapist or fixing all his problems. No. It's about offering him a safe space where he can be vulnerable without fear of judgment or rejection. Sometimes all he needs is for you to sit beside him, listen, and let him share his burdens without feeling the pressure to solve anything. Just the act of being present can make him fall in love with you on a deeper level than any grand gesture ever could. In those quiet moments of mutual understanding, you both will find a connection that transcends anything superficial. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked, the power of your own vulnerability. If you want him to open up and share his heart with you, it's essential that you do the same. Men don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with authenticity. When you show him the real you, flaws and all, you open the door for him to do the same. Vulnerability is a gift, not a weakness. It's an opportunity for two people to bond on a level that goes far beyond what words can express. When you let him see your true self, he'll feel a deeper level of trust and admiration for you. He won't just love you for your strength. He'll love you for your ability to be human, for your willingness to let your guard down and be real. But here's the trick. Vulnerability isn't about dumping all your emotions on him, making him the sole person to comfort you. No, it's about sharing moments of personal reflection, showing him your true thoughts, your fears, and your dreams in a way that invites connection without overwhelming him. Think of it like sharing small pieces of yourself over time, enough to make him feel closer to you without drowning him in your emotions. It's this delicate balance of emotional openness that will help him fall in love with you in the most authentic way possible. One crucial thing to remember is that emotional depth is not something that can be rushed. Relationships that are built on real connection take time and patience. Think of it like building a house. You need to lay a strong foundation before you can build something that will last. The same way, emotional bonds grow slowly, and it's important not to rush the process. If you're constantly looking for immediate results, you may overlook the small moments that lay the groundwork for true love. Instead, focus on nurturing the relationship, investing in the connection, and allowing time for the bond to strengthen. You'll be amazed at how deep the connection can go when you're patient and intentional with it. So, what does this look like in practice? It starts with the little things. The way you look at him, the way you touch his arm or make him laugh during a tough moment. These small acts of affection create a sense of safety and warmth that fosters love. In addition, pay attention to how he communicates his needs and wants. Sometimes men won't tell you exactly what they need, but you can pick up on these cues if you're emotionally attuned. He might need space, or he might need a comforting word. The more you understand his emotional landscape, the more you can respond in a way that makes him feel loved and valued. Another powerful tool in deepening a man's emotional connection with you is consistency. Men, like all people, need stability in their relationships. They want to know that you're reliable, that they can count on you when they need support, and that you won't leave when things get tough. When you show him that you're consistent in your actions, your words, and your feelings, you give him something priceless: security. And once a man feels secure in his relationship with you, he's more likely to let his guard down and fall deeply in love. Stability builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful, lasting relationship. Now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked in relationships: emotional reciprocity. Love is not a one-way street. It's not enough for you to offer him emotional support and vulnerability if he's not doing the same for you. Relationships that last are built on mutual emotional exchange. If you want him to fall deeply in love with you, you need to make sure you're creating a space where both of you feel comfortable sharing and supporting each other. This mutual vulnerability will not only make him fall in love with you, but will also strengthen the bond you share. Remember, men don't want to be treated like they are always in control. They want to feel like equals in the emotional exchange. When you both share your true selves, when you both open up, the emotional connection becomes a two-way street, and that's when the real love starts to flourish. So, if you're ready to create this kind of emotional depth with him, it's time to make sure that you're offering the same vulnerability and emotional openness that you're hoping to receive. It's in that reciprocity that love truly takes root. You're probably starting to realize just how powerful emotional connection is when it comes to making a man fall deeply in love. But here's the real truth. It's not just about following a set of rules or guidelines. It's about genuinely caring for him, about creating a space where both of you can show your authentic selves without fear of judgment. That's the foundation of deep, lasting love, and once you build that foundation, everything else follows. So what's stopping you from taking that next step? Are you ready to create the emotional connection that will lead to a love like no other? Trust me, the man you want is waiting for you to unlock the depth of his heart. Now that we've established how crucial emotional depth is in making a man fall deeply in love, let's look at the subtle yet powerful ways you can strengthen this bond and make him feel a level of intimacy he never knew was possible. It's one thing to understand that emotional vulnerability is key, but it's another thing entirely to actively nurture that connection in a way that transforms a relationship. There's a real art to this. An art that requires patience, consistency, and a deep understanding of his needs. But the rewards, they're extraordinary. When you master this, you'll witness a change in the way he views you, the way he cherishes you, and most importantly, the way he loves you. First, let's talk about the importance of showing him that you appreciate him, not just for what he does for you, but for who he is as a person. Men often feel the weight of being providers, protectors, and the emotional rock in relationships. And while that's a role they take on with pride, they also need to feel like they're appreciated for their personal qualities, the things that make them unique. When you acknowledge and praise these qualities, you're helping him to see that he's not just the sum of his actions, but the totality of his being. This validation creates an emotional connection that goes far beyond superficial attraction. You're showing him that you value him as a whole person, not just what he can do for you or what role he plays in the relationship. But there's an even deeper level to this appreciation, showing him that you recognize his struggles. Men often don't talk about their challenges, their insecurities, or their fears. They tend to carry these burdens silently, believing that they must handle everything on their own. But here's the thing. When you acknowledge these unspoken struggles, whether it's a work issue, family drama, or even personal fears, you're giving him permission to be vulnerable with you. This recognition doesn't have to be overt. Sometimes it's as simple as a kind word or a knowing look when he's feeling overwhelmed. This small act of empathy allows him to lower his guard and open up. And it's in those moments that love begins to deepen. In many ways, men fall in love with women who can make them feel emotionally supported while also respecting their need for independence. You see, men don't want to feel smothered or controlled, but they do want to know that their partner is there for them when they need it. It's the perfect balance between space and closeness. Think about it. When you create an environment where he feels like he can pursue his passions and goals, yet still have a reliable and emotionally nurturing partner by his side, you're creating the kind of bond that makes him want to stay forever. That kind of emotional freedom, paired with deep connection, is the sweet spot where true love flourishes. Another powerful way to make him fall deeply in love is by showing him that you trust him. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and it's something that needs to be nurtured and maintained over time. When you trust him with your emotions, your thoughts, and your heart, you're sending him a powerful message: I believe in you. And trust isn't just about being honest with him, it's also about allowing him to trust you. This doesn't mean keeping secrets or hiding things from him. It means allowing him to be part of your world, to see your vulnerabilities, and to feel like he has a place in your life. When you create this sense of mutual trust, you make him feel emotionally safe, and that's when his love for you grows exponentially. But trust is a two-way street, right? If you're going to ask him to trust you, you also need to be trustworthy. This doesn't just mean being loyal. It means being consistent in your actions and your words. Men are keen observers, and they will take note of whether or not you're reliable in the small things. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you say you'll be there for him, show up. Over time, these small acts of consistency build a foundation of trust that will deepen his emotional bond with you. And trust me, once a man feels like he can rely on you completely, his emotional attachment will grow stronger than you can imagine. But there's an emotional challenge in this process that you need to be aware of: fear of rejection. A lot of men fear being rejected, not just by society or by friends, but by their significant others. That's why many men tend to hold back when it comes to showing vulnerability. They fear that if they let their guard down too much, they might not be loved or accepted for who they truly are. So if you want to make a man fall deeply in love with you, it's important that you create a space where rejection is not an option. When you show him that you will never judge him for his imperfections, when you reassure him that he is loved unconditionally, he will open up more than you ever thought possible. This emotional security is the key to helping him fall deeper in love. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I know when he's truly in love with me? The truth is, it can be difficult to pinpoint the exact moment when a man realizes he's in love, but you'll know by the way he treats you. When a man falls deeply in love, he will go out of his way to make you feel safe, happy, and cherished. He'll pay attention to the small details that matter to you. He'll show up for you in ways that speak louder than words. It's not just about grand gestures or saying I love you every day. It's about consistency in his actions. He will make you feel valued, respected, and cared for, and that's when you'll realize just how deep his love truly is. But don't get too hung up on waiting for the moment to come. The journey to creating a deep emotional connection is just as important as the destination. Focus on building the bond every single day through the small, everyday interactions that show him you care. Whether it's a simple text to check in, a spontaneous hug when he needs it, or an open conversation about your feelings, these moments will build up over time, and he'll begin to fall in love with you in ways he never expected. And as he begins to feel more loved, more valued, and more emotionally secure, his feelings for you will only grow. As you continue on this journey, remember that love is not something that can be forced or rushed. It's something that must grow organically over time. But if you make him feel emotionally safe, supported, and loved, you'll create a bond that will withstand the tests of time. And once you unlock that kind of emotional intimacy, you'll discover a love that's stronger, deeper, and more fulfilling than you could have ever imagined. So, are you ready to take this emotional journey with him? If so, brace yourself, because once you do, there's no turning back. The love you're about to experience will be nothing short of extraordinary. At this stage, you might already be seeing glimpses of the profound emotional connection taking root between you. But let's take it even further, exploring how you can truly cement your place in his heart and make him fall so deeply in love that the bond feels inseparable. To build this kind of emotional depth requires consistent effort, but the payoff is absolutely worth it. When you cultivate love in this way, not only will he fall for you in a way that feels unshakable, but you'll also create a relationship that is unbreakable. Here's where we dive into the details that truly solidify that connection, turning infatuation into long-lasting love. First and foremost, let's talk about emotional availability. Men are often expected to be the strong, stoic figures in relationships, but beneath that exterior, they crave emotional intimacy just as much as women do. In fact, many men struggle with their emotions because society hasn't equipped them with the tools to express vulnerability. So the key to making him fall deeply in love is providing an emotional space where he feels comfortable letting his guard down. If you consistently show up for him with an open heart and allow him to share his feelings without judgment, you will be amazed at the trust and love that develop. The more emotionally available you are, the more emotionally available he'll be. And that's when love truly begins to bloom. But here's the catch. Emotional availability isn't just about listening to him or comforting him when he's upset. It's also about sharing your own feelings. Vulnerability is a two-way street. And if you want him to open up to you, you need to show him the same level of openness. When you allow him to see your struggles, your dreams, and your fears, it deepens his sense of connection to you. He'll see that you're not just a woman who loves him, but someone who is also willing to be vulnerable and open. It's this reciprocal vulnerability that allows trust to flourish. And as trust deepens, so does the emotional connection. The more you both share, the more entwined your hearts become. And that's the foundation of lasting love. Another key to making him fall deeply in love is emotional consistency. Relationships are about building a safe, steady space where both partners know they can rely on each other. When you consistently show up for him, emotionally, physically, and mentally, you create a sense of stability that he craves. Men, more than anyone, need to know that their partner will be there for them, not just in good times, but during the challenges too. This means being dependable, being present, and showing that you're committed to the relationship. When a man knows he can count on you to be emotionally available, to show up when he needs you, and to offer love without hesitation, he will fall for you in a way that's built on deep admiration and respect. This consistency creates a foundation for love that will weather any storm. Here's a truth you might not want to hear, but it's important. Don't try to fix him. Men, like everyone else, want to feel accepted for who they are, not for who they could become. Yes, you can encourage him, support him, and be there for him as he works through his challenges, but the moment you start treating him like a project to be fixed, that emotional bond starts to fray. Instead, love him for his imperfections. When you embrace him as he is, flaws, insecurities, and all, you're creating a space where he feels safe to be himself. And it's in this space where there's no pressure to be perfect that deep love can grow. He'll appreciate you for seeing him, not as someone to be fixed or changed, but as someone to be loved unconditionally. Now, let's dive into something incredibly powerful that will leave a lasting impression on his heart: the power of shared experiences. There's something about going through something together that forges an unbreakable emotional bond. Whether it's a challenging situation that you face as a couple, or something fun and adventurous that you do together, shared experiences create memories that deepen your connection. The emotional highs and lows you experience as a team make you feel like partners in every sense of the word. Think about it. When you look back on a trip you took together, or an obstacle you overcame side by side, doesn't it bring you closer? Those moments of mutual experience create a sense of unity that brings your hearts together in ways nothing else can. When you share these kinds of experiences, you're not just making memories, you're building a shared history that strengthens your relationship and deepens your emotional bond. But here's the thing, shared experiences don't always have to be monumental. It could be as simple as cooking a meal together, watching a movie, or taking a walk in the park. The key is to be present and engaged during these moments. Don't let your mind wander to other things. Give him your full attention. When you're fully present, these simple moments become meaningful. It's in these small, everyday experiences that love takes root and grows, because it's through these moments that you build the intimacy and connection that form the foundation of lasting love. The concept of emotional security is another pillar that you can focus on to make him fall even deeper in love with you. When a man feels emotionally secure in a relationship, he's free to be his true self without the fear of judgment or rejection. If you want him to love you deeply, you need to show him that you're committed to creating a secure emotional environment. This means being consistent, being reliable, and showing him that no matter what happens, you've got his back. When a man feels secure in his relationship, he can open up without fear. And that's when love shifts from a surface-level attraction to something deep and permanent. This emotional security is the backbone of true intimacy, and it's what will keep his love for you growing, no matter what life throws at you. Of course, there's a challenge here: patience. Emotional security and deep love don't happen overnight. It takes time to build trust, to create that emotional space, and to develop the kind of bond that withstands the test of time. But if you're patient and consistent, you'll see the results. This means not rushing him, not forcing him to love you faster than he's ready, but instead letting the relationship develop naturally. The more you focus on creating a safe, emotionally rich environment for him, the more likely he is to fall in love with you in a way that's deep and lasting. Here's a thought to hold on to. True love is not a destination, but a journey. If you're focused on getting him to fall in love with you, you might miss out on the beauty of the process itself. Love is something that grows and evolves over time, and it's through the journey that you build a deeper, more profound connection. The key is to enjoy the ride, embrace the challenges, celebrate the victories, and cherish the quiet moments together. When you're both committed to the journey, love deepens in ways that words can't quite describe. And as you both invest in each other's emotional well-being, you'll find that the connection between you only grows stronger with time. By now, you should realize that making him fall deeply in love with you isn't about one grand gesture or trick. It's about creating a space where both of you feel emotionally seen, heard, and valued. When you nurture this connection with patience, consistency, and love, the bond that forms will be unshakable. So take a step back and ask yourself, are you ready to create this kind of love? Because when you do, you'll discover a connection that will last a lifetime, a love that will never fade. And trust me, once you've unlocked that emotional depth, nothing will be able to tear you apart. By now, you're beginning to understand the power of emotional intimacy in fostering a deep and lasting love. But let's take a moment to explore what happens when this emotional bond truly reaches its peak. When a man falls deeply in love with you, he doesn't just love you for who you are today. He loves you for everything you represent, your dreams, your flaws, your future. And the best part, he will want to share his entire life with you. That's the kind of connection we're talking about here. The kind of relationship that transcends the superficial and becomes something that both partners hold dear. So how do you continue to nurture this kind of love and keep it from fading? How do you ensure that he remains deeply in love with you, not just in the moment, but for the long haul? The answer lies in the simple but powerful idea of growing together. A relationship that stands the test of time isn't static. It's ever evolving. As you both grow as individuals, it's important to also nurture the growth of your relationship. When you're both committed to personal development, to improving yourselves and supporting each other in your individual journeys, you create a dynamic bond that stays strong even in the face of challenges. Men fall in love with women who are continually striving to be the best versions of themselves. Not perfect versions, but the best versions. When you show him that you're dedicated to becoming the best you can be, not just for him, but for yourself, it inspires him to do the same. It's this mutual growth that deepens love and solidifies the relationship. So if you want to make him fall deeper in love with you, keep challenging yourself, keep growing, and encourage him to do the same. It's in this shared commitment to personal and relational growth that the deepest kind of love is cultivated. You also need to recognize that change is inevitable. Life is constantly changing, and so are people. The person he is today may not be the person he is in 5 years. And likewise, the woman you are today will evolve as well. So one of the most powerful things you can do to keep your love strong is to embrace these changes rather than resist them. Men fall deeply in love with women who are adaptable, who can roll with the punches, and who are committed to sticking by their side no matter what life throws their way. Change can come in many forms. New job opportunities, a move to a new city, or even changes in personal goals and ambitions. When you face these changes together, instead of letting them tear you apart, you reinforce your bond. The way you handle these transitions will have a profound impact on how your relationship grows. If you can adapt, learn, and evolve together, you'll create a love that is resilient, enduring, and ever expanding. Now, let's talk about the importance of creating new memories together. No matter how deep your emotional connection, it's the shared experiences that keep the flame of love alive. This is one of the most crucial components of a long-lasting relationship. It's not enough to simply fall in love. You have to continue making memories that strengthen that love. These experiences don't always need to be extravagant or expensive. In fact, some of the best memories are made in the simplest moments. Taking a spontaneous trip, watching the sunset together, or even just cooking dinner side by side. These are the moments that create lasting emotional bonds. When you look back on your time together, it's not the big events that matter the most. It's the small, everyday moments that you shared and the unique memories that came from them. So, if you want to make him fall even deeper in love with you, make sure you're both continually creating new memories that bring you closer. The more you experience together, the more love you'll have to reflect on, and the stronger your connection will become. Along with shared experiences, shared values play a pivotal role in deepening love. If you and your partner share the same core values, whether it's about family, career, or life goals, your bond will feel even more profound. This is why it's important to take the time to discuss your long-term vision for the future. Do your dreams align? Are your values compatible? When you discover that you're on the same page about the important things in life, it's a powerful affirmation that your love is built on solid ground. This doesn't mean you need to agree on everything. In fact, some differences can enrich a relationship. But having a common foundation of values gives your relationship the strength to weather any storm. When a man sees that you both want the same things in life, and that you can work together to achieve them, his love for you will deepen beyond what you could imagine. Let's also talk about the concept of emotional independence. While emotional connection is essential in a relationship, maintaining a sense of individuality is just as important. Men fall deeply in love with women who have their own sense of self, their own passions, and their own lives outside of the relationship. It's a common misconception that being in love means losing yourself in someone else. In fact, the most powerful relationships are those in which both partners have a sense of independence while still being emotionally available and supportive to one another. When you can maintain your own identity while being in a loving relationship, it not only enhances your connection, but also makes him appreciate you even more. Men are drawn to women who are confident in their own skin, who don't rely on their partner for their sense of worth or happiness. Instead, they bring their own fulfillment to the relationship. When you cultivate this emotional independence, you add a layer of depth to the love you share, making it more sustainable and balanced. Furthermore, we must acknowledge that communication is the key to sustaining love. No relationship can thrive without open, honest, and frequent communication. As a relationship matures, it becomes essential to communicate about not just the good things, but also the challenges. Men often avoid confrontation or talking about their emotions because they fear it might create tension. But when you create a safe space for him to express himself without judgment, and when you're open about your own needs and feelings, it fosters an environment where both of you can be vulnerable and real. It's through these tough conversations that you build even more trust and connection. So if you want to deepen his love for you, make sure communication is always open, transparent, and loving. This will create a solid foundation that can withstand any difficulties you may face together. One of the most significant aspects of long-term love is emotional reciprocity. Love is not a one-way street, and both partners need to feel that they are giving and receiving equally. When you show him love and care, he'll naturally want to return that love in his own way. Whether it's through words of affirmation, acts of service, or simply being there for you when you need him, emotional reciprocity creates a balance that makes love thrive. If he feels loved, valued, and appreciated, he will naturally reciprocate that love, creating a harmonious emotional connection. This back-and-forth exchange strengthens your relationship and keeps the love fresh and enduring. As time goes on, one of the most important things you can do is never take each other for granted. Love can become complacent if you don't actively nurture it. Even after years together, make sure you continue to show appreciation for each other. Express your love through small gestures, a thoughtful note, a surprise date night, a warm hug after a long day. These acts of love and appreciation remind both of you that the relationship is still a priority. When you don't take each other for granted, it keeps the love alive and thriving, no matter how long you've been together. So, what does this all mean for you? If you want to make him fall even more deeply in love with you, keep nurturing the emotional bond between you. Embrace the journey of growth, of change, and of shared experiences. Be open, be vulnerable, and always keep communication flowing. Create new memories, maintain your own identity, and never take him for granted. By focusing on these aspects, you'll ensure that the love between you not only endures but continues to deepen. And in doing so, you'll create a love that is not just deep, it's forever, the kind of love that lasts a lifetime. As you continue on this emotional journey, you'll discover that love isn't just about the big moments or the grand gestures. It's about the small, consistent actions that show your love every single day. True lasting love grows from the foundation of mutual respect, deep emotional connection, and shared values. When you focus on creating a relationship that nurtures these aspects, you're building something that will withstand any challenge life throws your way. A deep, lasting love isn't built overnight. It's crafted over time with each shared moment, each new experience, and each conversation that brings you closer together. So, let's explore how to continue this path of cultivating love in a way that strengthens and sustains it for years to come. One crucial aspect of making him fall deeply in love with you is understanding the power of patience. We live in a world that values instant gratification, but love is not something that can be rushed. Relationships take time to develop, and each moment you spend building trust, deepening your connection, and learning more about each other adds to the foundation of your love. Patience isn't just about waiting for the right time. It's about knowing that every stage of the relationship, from the honeymoon phase to the inevitable challenges, is important. The more patient you are with him, the more he will appreciate the space and understanding you offer. And this patience helps him to grow comfortable in the relationship, knowing that your love won't fade with the passing of time. In fact, the more patient and understanding you are, the more he'll come to realize that your love is solid, reliable, and unwavering. Sometimes we get caught up in thinking that love needs to be perfect. But let me tell you something. Imperfections are what make love real. When you embrace the flaws in yourself, in him, and in your relationship, you create a space for growth and deeper connection. Men fall deeply in love when they are allowed to be imperfect, when they can make mistakes without fear of being judged, and when their partner accepts them fully. No one is perfect, and relationships certainly aren't either. The key is being able to embrace these imperfections, learn from them, and grow together. Instead of trying to perfect your relationship or the person you're with, focus on loving each other's imperfections with grace and understanding. This creates a more authentic connection, one that is far more powerful than any illusion of perfection could ever be. Another powerful factor in making him fall deeply in love with you is showing him that you value your relationship above all else. This doesn't mean sacrificing your individuality or your personal goals, but it does mean that you prioritize him and your relationship when it matters most. Men fall in love with women who show them that their relationship is a priority. It's easy to take someone for granted once the initial excitement fades, but the best way to keep a man deeply in love with you is to show him through your actions that he's still your priority. This could mean giving him extra attention when he's stressed, planning a special evening when he's had a tough day, or simply reminding him of how much he means to you through a small gesture or thoughtful action. By making your relationship a priority, you signal to him that you're in it for the long haul, and he will fall deeper in love with you because of it. But it's not just about making your relationship a priority. It's about nurturing a sense of security and comfort in the relationship. Men, like everyone else, want to feel emotionally safe. They want to know that they can be themselves, that they can express their emotions and concerns without fear of judgment. Emotional security is the bedrock of a healthy, loving relationship. If you provide him with this security, he will naturally feel more deeply connected to you. This sense of safety allows him to open up and be vulnerable, and that vulnerability is where love thrives. So, If you want him to fall even deeper in love with you, focus on creating an environment where he feels accepted and cherished for who he truly is, flaws and all. One of the most overlooked aspects of love is learning to forgive and move on. No relationship is without conflict or misunderstandings. What matters most isn't whether you fight, but how you handle those moments. Men fall in love with women who know how to forgive, who don't hold grudges or dwell on past mistakes. If you are quick to forgive, to let go of resentment, and to move forward with a positive attitude, you are showing him that your love is stronger than any argument or disagreement. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or letting things slide when they are important, but it does mean that you know how to move on from the past and focus on the present and future of your relationship. This ability to forgive and heal together strengthens your bond and deepens his love for you. As you build this connection, it's essential to also focus on the idea of mutual respect. Respect is at the core of any strong relationship. Without respect, love cannot grow or sustain itself. Men deeply appreciate women who respect their boundaries, their individuality, and their perspectives. The key here is mutual respect, acknowledging that both of you have your own desires, dreams, and limitations, and that these need to be honored for the relationship to thrive. Respect doesn't just mean treating each other with kindness. It means truly valuing each other's input, respecting each other's decisions, and maintaining a level of equality in the relationship. When he feels respected, he will be more willing to invest emotionally in the relationship, and that's when true love flourishes. Next, think about the concept of intimacy. Not just physical, but emotional intimacy. Men, just like women, crave intimacy in all forms. Emotional intimacy is built on trust, vulnerability, and consistent heartfelt communication. When you can be emotionally intimate with him, sharing your innermost thoughts, feelings, and desires, you create a space where both of you can experience a deeper, more meaningful connection. It's through this emotional intimacy that you both grow closer. And it's also what strengthens the physical aspect of your relationship. Men fall deeply in love with women who open up emotionally and share the deepest parts of themselves. By building emotional intimacy, you pave the way for a connection that is far more profound and lasting than mere physical attraction. Along with intimacy, playfulness plays a key role in sustaining love. Life can get serious, especially when you're navigating work, responsibilities, and everyday challenges. But playfulness and humor are essential ingredients in keeping a relationship alive. Men fall in love with women who can make them laugh, who don't take themselves too seriously, and who bring lightness into their lives. Playful moments, whether it's a silly inside joke or spontaneous fun, create an atmosphere of joy and connection. These moments of playfulness allow you both to relax, to enjoy each other's company, and to bond in a way that feels fresh and exciting, even after years together. Lastly, don't forget that quality time is a critical factor in strengthening love. It's not enough to just exist in the same space. You need to spend time together in a meaningful way. In the hustle of everyday life, it's easy to fall into a routine where you're physically present but emotionally distant. To truly keep the flame of love burning brightly, you need to dedicate time to each other, whether that's through deep conversations, shared activities, or even quiet moments of connection. When you prioritize quality time, you remind each other of why you fell in love in the first place. This time together strengthens the emotional foundation of your relationship, allowing both of you to feel more connected and loved. So, what's the takeaway from all this? If you want to make him fall deeply in love with you, it's not about any one thing. It's about a combination of all these elements: patience, acceptance of imperfections, prioritizing the relationship, emotional security, forgiveness, mutual respect, intimacy, playfulness, and quality time. When you focus on these aspects, you're building a relationship that is unshakable, one that will grow stronger and deeper with each passing year. True love is not about the destination, it's about the journey. And as you continue to nurture this bond, you'll find that the love you share isn't just deep, it's forever. So, are you ready to create this kind of love? Because once you do, nothing will stand in its way.